Welcome.
Attention, please.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome to the No Comfort Zone podcast. It's time to get out of your comfort zone and live on purpose. Broadcasting to the world from Rockford, Illinois. This is your wake-up call.
Warning.
You are the solutions to all your problems. Stop thinking average. Become the hero version of yourself. Every day, every time, without fail, no exceptions. It all matters. You've entered the No Comfort Zone. It's time for a reality check.
So from 1988 to 1992, I was in the United States Marine Corps. I was stationed in San Diego, California, where I went through MCRD Recruit Depot training. And from there, I went to school at Camp Del Mar and Camp Pendleton, California. From there, I ended up going to Okinawa, Japan, and I lived in a little town called Naha, Camp Kinzer, and I was with 3rd Force Service Support Group. I was basically in a support role. Truth be told, I was a secretary in the Marines. I was an 0151. I was a clerk typist. That's what I did, like Radar and MASH. I don't want to date myself, but it's an old television show. But I was like a clerk, and I worked for some generals. And then after that, I was in military personnel, actually, in Okinawa. And what that meant was people that were interested, a career planner, people that were interested in rejoining, I had an opportunity to do their paperwork and set up their orders based on what my boss, my captain, was telling me where they were going to go or what they were going to do. So it was basically like a career planner. That's what I did. And I worked for some great guys out there, and I loved being a Marine. Did some crazy things when I was out there. A lot of scuba diving, a lot of drinking, whole lot of drinking. That's what you do out there. And then, towards the last 6 months when I was there, I really got into physical fitness, got into scuba diving, and I really just had a great time. Spent a lot of time in the water, and I really enjoyed it there. So I was there from April 10th, 1990 to April 10th, 1991, and just had a great time being there. From there, I had a chance to go to one of two places. I could have went to Orlando, Florida, and worked at an independent Marine station. Basically, I think it was going to be like in a recruiting environment. Or I could have went to Quantico Marine Base in beautiful Virginia. A friend of mine told me, Virginia's awesome, you'd love it. So I went to Virginia. I should have went to Florida, but you know what, I got to tell you, my life started in Virginia. I went to Quantico, and I was with military personnel, headquarters and service battalion. The reason why I'm telling you all this stuff, I have no idea. I'm just talking about my military experience right now and what that means to me today and the lesson for today. So Quantico is the crossroads of the Marines. That's where it's the training area. That's where all the Marine officers go. That's where actually the FBI Academy is there. And also there's a sniper school that's there as well. And I worked like in the nice part of the base where we got to wear, the nice uniform every day and all that. And I went to an office, and I was basically the Quantico Marine Base operator as well as the greeter. So if you and your family were coming in, like I remember one time, this was really cool. A bunch of Navy SEALs were coming in for training, and I got to check them in. A Few Good Men, the movie, was being filmed at parts there, and some of the people, Kevin Bacon, Demi Moore, were there on our base, and that's where some of the stuff was filmed. It was kind of cool. But so I was at Quantico 1991 all the way up until I got out in 1992. Yeah, it was my last place. And it was around Washington, D.C. and all that, and got a chance to experience that. A really cool time in my life. Absolutely, totally enjoyed that time in my life. But all my times in the Marines, one of the things in the Marines, whether you're a Marine that's actually in the field, as they say, a grunt or an O3 or the person that's in that capacity, or you're in support, everybody gets trained on how to use a rifle. Everybody gets trained really well, actually. And everybody gets trained how to be a Marine and, play around and do the things that Marines do. And it was just a great time of my life to learn all these different things that I was able to learn, and I enjoyed it. one of the biggest things that I've carried through, you meet somebody and then 30 years later, they're still a Marine and they say that. Well, you have to understand that in going through the basic training and the camaraderie of being a Marine, it is wonderful. And when you see that eagle, globe, and anchor, the universal symbol for the Marines, it means something. And Semper Fidelis, always faithful to God, the country, and the Marine Corps. It holds weight because what you go through together and what you're part of. It's a huge, huge legacy to be a part of. And it's quite frankly, it's an honor. And it's something that not everyone can say that they've done in their life. And I respect the Marines that have served. I respect the Marines that are currently serving and their families. To me, it's really an important part of my life. And I'm really glad that I did it. Now, why am I bringing this up now? One of the biggest things I learned from the Marines, and it's really harsh to say this, because after all those nice pleasantries and all the nice things that I've said, one of the absolute biggest things that I've learned is from a leadership point of view, and also from being a follower in the Marines, because not everyone can be the leader. But something said when and I was never in combat. I don't want to mislead anyone. I was never in combat. And there's a lot of people, great men who served. And I learned this from them who served. And this is something that was brought up to me. And I still hold it very true in business, very much so. And you have to know where you stand. And here it is. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. And they swear when you say that, but I want this to be a clean podcast. Lead, follow, or get out of the way. It's just that simple. When things are happening really bad in business and life, no matter what it is, it's time for you to be a leader or it's time for you to be a follower. Sometimes you just have to know, man, get out of the way, because you're stopping the follower and you're stopping the leader. You can't be in that position. And I think if you take that application in your life, lead, follow, or get out of the way, it's going to do really well for you. And there's times, even in my position now, and I'm the leader. I'm not the leader by title. I'm the leader because I care the most. I'm the leader that can help the most. But there's times when I realize 100% I need to step aside and let somebody else take over this role, because it's the most important thing for the greater good of the group, for the organization. And I know that. And what's really great as a leader is when you can do that more often, when you can step aside, get out of the way and follow. It really does. It increases your currency as a leader, because you can give somebody else the chance to lead. Now, can there be only one leader? Yeah, there only can be one leader. And that leadership is going to change, whether it's from the back, the middle, or the front. Now, there can be multiple people, but sometimes you're going to have to lead from the rear. Sometimes you're going to have to lead from the middle, and sometimes you are going to have to lead from the front. Wherever that might be, whatever the best vantage point is. And sometimes leading from the rear isn't the best place, and sometimes leading from the front isn't the best place, or the middle. You have to take stock in your peoples around you and understand that they might have a better viewpoint of what's going on in your organization, in your personal life, or in your family life, whatever it is for you. Sometimes you're going to have to take that information to make a decision and then take ownership back and then actually start leading again. One of the best books on leadership that I have ever listened to, and it's an audiobook that I listened to, and I listened to it last year, and I'm probably going to dig into it again this year. I absolutely love the book by Jocko Willink, and it's called Extreme Ownership. One of my favorite all-time leadership books, because it goes through what these Navy SEALs did on the battlefield, how they communicated, how they worked together, the challenges that they faced, how they used their training and the Navy SEALs doctrine to get the best out of the situation and stay true to their ethics and get home safely, and sometimes not so much. They had some bad days. But what's great about this book is they take these really terrible experiences that these guys have gone through, and then you take that, what the lessons are learned, and then you can apply that to your business and your personal life, and they do it in a great format. And a buddy of mine said that, you really need to connect with him on Twitter. So if there's a way that somebody can connect us two together, that would be great. I'm a big fan, and that book is an amazing book. And I suggest that if you're a leader, you need to listen to Extreme Ownership. It's phenomenal. But lead, follow, or get out of the way. It's really important because people are counting on you to make the right decision. And sometimes you do have to make the decision to bow out and give the leadership role to somebody else, because it is a huge position of strength. So this is my idea of a podcast on leadership, about my military experience and where I was and what I did. No, I never saw combat, but I've taken what I've learned in the Marines through training, what I learned from other Marines who were in combat, and what I had to do to basically be a Marine. I apply those principles that I've learned, and I use that in my business now, and it actually works great. I use that in my family life now, and it works great. So if this served you, fantastic. So happy that it did. If you need more information, hit me up, dan@thenocomfortzone.com. If you got some goals, if you're stuck, if you think I can help, hit me up. Let me see if I can do something to help you, to get you to the next level, okay? Hope all is well. I hope you do realize that you are someone great, and I believe in you. And if you want to experience the best what life has to offer, it's time for you to get out of your comfort zone and start living on purpose.
Say goodbye.
Want more of the No Comfort Zone? You can follow Dan on Instagram and Twitter at NoComfortZone1.
Bye.
Or on the web at thenocomfortzone.com.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to the No Comfort Zone podcast.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.